As he walks to the waterway, though, he spots a floating arm and immediately recoils. He screams out for the others, calling for them, and reluctantly makes his way further inside, where he is met with a horrifying sight. All 3 people that he sent in, the guards, were really young and had their whole lives ahead of them. They are now strung up like puppets and made into an example of horror. Bong-soo wonders where that hand went, since he needed it for the aesthetic, but then he notices the team leader and realizes he was just missing an arm. He will not throw away this opportunity either. Surprisingly, the team leader immediately jumps at Bong-soo, seemingly not afraid of what he did, only furious. He unleashes a barrage of strikes that Bong-soo is forced to block, as this guy is much stronger than he ever anticipated. After another clash, they break apart, splashing at their feet. As the team leader recognizes him, he is the guy who showed up with a soul-chasing poison hand, isn't he? He came here as a guest, so why in the 7 hells is he doing something like this? Bong-soo doesn't respond at first and then says, "It's for the sake of the Namgung clan, of course." The team leader doesn't believe a word of it. He tore away his warriors and skewered them like animals, and he calls that doing it for the Namgung clan. He shouldn't even think of dying a painless death. He will make sure he suffers. He begins using the Heavenly Wind Sword Arts, first form, and in turn, Bong-soo activates the 3 Calamities Sword Arts, second form. With that, they charge at each other, creating a brilliant cascade of light that makes the water at their feet surge around from the sheer force. After this powerful double attack, they break apart again, and the team leader unleashes a bunch of ranged strikes, which flurry around Bong-soo, hitting him not gravely, but enough to push him back and diminish his HP greatly. With this opportunity, the team leader charges in once again and manages to cut off a few of Bong-soo's fingers. He laughs maniacally, wondering what he is going to do now without his blade. Suddenly, though, another blade appears out of thin air and begins cutting his head off before the team leader dodges the strike with a millisecond to spare. He stumbles back into the dark corridor, wondering what the hell just happened. He clearly saw him drop his blade, so when did he get another one? If he had been a millisecond slower, his face would have been torn off now. Just what kind of sorcery is this? Before he can think about it more, Bong-soo charges in once again and unleashes a left horizontal slash. The team leader defends against it, but just as he's about to clash his blade against Bong-soo's, it disappears, and Bong-soo is allowed to move behind him. The team leader doesn't understand. Again, that sword vanished. Before he can turn around fully, Bong-soo unleashes a heavy kick to his face, smashing him through the wall and jumping after him in the glistening night. The team leader thinks that he is dead, but just as the blade is about to take off his head once again, Bong-soo falters and falls to the ground roughly. The team leader understands that he is limited, doesn't he? That slash from earlier actually worked, didn't it? He pushed him too far. He begins laughing hard, as he got scared for nothing after all. Bong-soo gets up slowly, shakily. He has taken way too much damage, and his HP is extremely low. One more hit and he is gone. However, his XP bar is almost full. If that is the case, there is definitely a way for him to get out of this. He charges in at the team leader once again, who thinks that he must have a death wish or something, and unleashes the Heavenly Wind Sword Art's final form, the Heavenly Wind splitting the sky. He unleashes a bunch of calculated, methodical strikes that barrage Bong-soo, noting that he must be trying to take him down with him, but he won't have a single chance. Indeed, Bong-soo is going for the kill, but before he can, the strikes converge on him, taking off both his hands and a leg, allowing the team leader to move in and roughly smash his head into the ground with his foot. He twirls the blade in his hand, calling him an absolute buffoon. Did he truly think he could take on the great Gosangong? Since he wished for it so much, he will grant him the mercy of death. However, his eyes widen as he sees Bong-soo smiling in a blue light coming out of his mouth, the same light that appeared when he summoned his blade. The team leader realizes that he screwed up, but it's too late. Bong-soo summons the sword from his inventory, which heals itself inside the team leader's head, roughly killing him on the spot. With that, he actually levels up, and the system immediately gives him all of his HP back, regenerating his body whole, with an incredible light that permeates throughout the entire sect, even in the deepest parts of it. After that, Bong-soo completes his masterpiece, a testament to his insanity and skill. At the same moment, in the Danri clan, chaos erupts as expert martial warriors systematically take it down. Danri Cheon-woo, the head of the Danri clan, who has fought bravely up until now, looks on at the chaos around him, at his clan falling into pieces. Suddenly, a larger, predator-looking man appears before him, not even getting into a defensive position. The clan head just asks who he is and why he is there, but before he can finish, his head is cut in half, killing him on the spot. Mad Cloud tells one of his subordinates to go ahead and contact Hyul and tell him that the Danri clan is annihilated. Hyul himself is done with a woman he found somewhere else. Judging by her clothes, she was probably from the Danri clan. Well, she left a bad taste in his mouth for nothing. He should have just killed her on the spot. A messenger appears before him, and he understands it's over already. That Mad Cloud sure knows how not to have fun. However, the Namgung clan is weird. That light is not something they anticipated. There is no way Byun-yang would send a signal this loud and flashy. Could the Namgung clan have found out about their plan somehow? He tells the messenger to block all the roads leading to Anhui immediately, and then commence on the first stratagem. Eventually, the guards find Bongsu's art piece, which reads as follows: "When the moon is full, the emperor will fall, and he who walks slowly shall become king." Bayok is there too, and he looks at it sternly. He does not know who would do such a thing, but one thing is certain. Someone is targeting the Namgung clan. The wedding is fast approaching. They will increase the number of guards and make them take double patrols. If they spot anyone suspicious, they will report it to him immediately. As he walks away, he begins to decipher the contents of this cryptic message. Emperor refers to their clan, and when the moon is full, likely refers to the wedding taking place on the night of that full moon. But who exactly is he who walks slowly? His face becomes full of indignation and a keen sense of fear as he wonders what on earth is happening to their clan. The next morning, this is a very volatile topic among the clan elders. One of them screams as he smashes his fist into the table, noting that he's been saying this all along, but this is clearly a setup. This is Namgung Jun, leader of the Azure Sky Sword Unit. It has not even been a year since Heo joined this clan. How can they suspect the man who is to become their son-in-law based on some bizarre and macabre writing? The entire Murim will laugh at this clan if they continue to think like that. After a bit of silence, Namgung Yin, leader of the Boundless Sword Unit, tells him that his opinion differs from that of the leader of the Azure Sky Sword Unit. They must focus on the 8 characters left by the intruder. Anyone can see that the characters for walking slowly point to the name Heo. It is clear even to a child. Jung demands to know what he just said, but Yin continues. The intruder secretly infiltrated the great Namgung clan and killed their warriors in plain sight, leaving behind a message with an undeniable meaning. This means the intruder's goal wasn't just to infiltrate the clan, nor to kill someone or spy on them. Did they not all see that flash of light last night? That almost encompassed the entire clan. They sent a blindingly strong signal, as if to show off, and then vanished like a ghost. Jung doesn't understand him, so he is saying they should arrest Heo over a frame-up by an intruder that is not even confirmed yet. That would smear the prestige of their clan for good. What if this is a setup? Huh? What then? How is he supposed to show his face in public after something like this? Bayok tells them that's enough. Both of them are right. The leader of the Azure Sky Sword Unit said the intruder is suspicious, and the leader of the Boundless Sword Unit said they cannot simply ignore even the least possibility of something like this happening. Is that not why the Heavenly Standard Unit leader and the Heavenly Wind leader are out investigating right now? Jung calms his rage and confirms that the Heavenly Thunder Unit has already gone scouting towards Hefei. If some person or faction is plotting against their clan on the night of the full moon, there should be at least some movement by now. As they wait in silence, not really needing to say more, suddenly someone barges in, noting that he has an urgent report. This is Namgung Hu, the Heavenly Thunder Unit leader. They all get up, wondering what happened, and he immediately moves towards Bayok, bowing down and exclaiming that out of the Heavenly Standard Unit members who went scouting, none of them have returned to the clan. Jung screams out, "How did not a single one return?" Hu explains that they were supposed to return within 2 hours, but not a single one has come back yet. Bayok puts a stern yet comforting hand on his shoulder as he asks what he thinks happened, and he looks completely defeated and lowers his gaze in shame, exclaiming that the Namgung clan seems to be entirely surrounded by enemies. This revelation hits them all like a truck, and Jung stomps over asking, "What? And by whom?" However, Bayok was foreseeing this. The 18 water channels of the Yangtze River are probably being used, but now they have a treaty with them, and they are a naval force that cannot move inland. Then whose report says the inland direction toward Hefei is surrounded? Jung screams, demanding to know what faction in Anhui has the power to surround their entire clan. Does an organization with that kind of power even exist in the first place? It makes no sense. Yin, however, his face filled with despair, says no, there is one place, just one, in all of the Murim that has the power to surround their clan, the Heavenly Demon Castle. Somewhere nearby, Bongsu recites the message he sent. When the moon is full, the emperor will fall, and he who walks slowly shall become king. He repeats it again, with a hint of genuine amusement on his features. The next morning, Bong-su meditates, concentrating his pathways and reliving the fight from yesterday. He can see it perfectly and clearly, allowing him to dodge the strike that made him lose so much HP in the first place. Even this was close. If the team leader had executed the heavenly windsword forms at that exact moment, he would have been completely defeated, with no way of getting out of it. Martial arts are far more powerful than any ability in the game, it seems. If he wishes to grow stronger than this, then he must master them so that he could be the one to unleash them towards the enemy, and he would be the one who always comes out on top. After a bunch of meditation, he eventually wins, thinking that the effect of the Great Revelation method of Tang-O-Sun is incredible. He is gaining much insight just by replaying it better in his head. Even if these meridians are temporary, his experience is now engraved into his body. With enough training, he should be able to wield martial arts soon enough. The system congratulates him, as he has reached level 13, and must now complete his first-class advancement mission. His first advancement mission is called Exclusive Tester Warrior. The completion requirement is to eliminate 1,000 enemies of level 10 or higher. Bong-su looks at these requirements, taking them all in, and thinks that this is around the level of the enemies he fought yesterday. The last ones were probably around level 5 or 6. He thought he'd gotten stronger a lot, but it seems that he is just beginning. Suddenly though, from behind him, the king's hall just blows up out of nowhere, and chaos begins to arise throughout the clan. 10 minutes earlier, Heo looked on at the massacre Bong-su left behind with a clinical eye. He walks around, thinking that everything has become complicated after that flare went up last night. Security tightened a lot, and the number of guards increased as a result. He must inform the shadows at once. However, the leader of the Boundless Sword Squad immediately stopped him, asking where he was rushing off to. Heo is surprised to see him out at such an hour, but just bows down, and knows that he heard there was a strange light nearby earlier, so he came to check it out. Yin, not being able to hide his indignation, asks what he found. Was it truly an intruder signal? Heo can see that the martial warriors behind him are already with their hands on their blades, ready to strike. He takes his silence as an answer too. He has nothing to say because he found nothing. He will come with them to the Imperial King's Hall, and they will not take no for an answer. With that, the Boundless Sword Squad leader walks away, forcing Heo to follow. However, he refused. He just sighed, noting that he quite liked this vessel. That's when the Imperial King Hall blew up, shocking everyone. With this distraction, he will charge, activating the Lightning Emperor sword technique on Yin, a tremendous thunderstrike that sends him crashing into the ground and draws people from all around to see what's happening. They can see their new young master in front of the Boundless Sword Squad leader, who is still alive but extremely shaken, even with a surprise attack. He took down someone like him in a single strike. This is not Heo. This is not a normal martial artist. Who is this man standing before him? Seeing Heo approach Yin with such unrestrained intent, a servant rushes in, asking Heo what he is doing. Before he can even touch his shoulder to look at him, Heo just cuts him apart right in front of everyone, causing a stampede as everyone runs away, thinking that he has gone mad. Yin wonders who in the hell is this guy. The man wearing Heo's body refuses to tell him, as he will die anyway. There is no need for dead men to tell tales. He rushes in with an incredible strike that is faster than even lightning, but before it can eradicate Yin, Wu appears, sitting on his arm, already penetrating one of his acupuncture points, demanding to know what he thinks he is doing. Heo tries to strike back with sheer power, but Wu meets it in kind. Bong-su watches from a slight distance. He has seen this exchange since the beginning, and as expected, Wu intervened. He begins pushing the needle further into his hand, making Heo recoil with power, as the poison slowly begins to seep inside of him, and forcing Heo to unleash all his martial prowess to defend against it. Wu takes out his needle from his hand, and Yin thanks him for saving his life. Wu just notes that the Murim really has grown into a cold place. To think that a son-in-law would strike his in-laws in the back like this. Heo just laughs, taking off the upper part of his clothes, and asks if not everyone is a scoundrel like that. As another explosion occurs behind him, Wu explains that he has never been one to use many words before acting, but he'd better confess his true identity and what is going on while he's still being civil, because he can be much less civil. Heo sees what he's doing. This is the secret butterfly internal art he has heard so much about, huh? He'd like to fight him right now. However, he might not have the time. Bong-su can see it too. This guy is planning to run. It is strange enough that he is alone, but it seems like he's been looking for something this whole time too. Suddenly, Hua appears next to Bong-su, wondering why her grandfather is there, making Bong-su's eyes widen. If she is here, it means that Heo must have been looking for her, right? Sure enough, Heo smashes his feet into the ground, noting that he found her. and Wu blocks against his aura, asking if he is that determined to see death. Heo completely ignores him and begins throwing his blade at the same time. Bongsu rushes towards Hua, and Wu unleashes the full brunt of his might, sending the needles flying towards Heo. Wu did not expect him to throw his sword mid-battle, but then he sees who it was thrown at, his own granddaughter. He screams out for her, telling her to get out of the way, but before she can even think of doing so, Bongsu rushes in, shielding her from the strike, which hits like a nuke, creating a gigantic crater where it hit. Wu rushes in, extremely worried, but his eyes widen as he sees Bongsu carrying Hua. It seems that he saved her. Bongsu gently hands her over, and Wu's hardened expression falters into that of a caring grandfather, thanking him for what he did. Above, Heo just laughs, as this is a rather lovely reunion. He should have brought something to drink while watching such a drama. Bongsu recognizes that he is strong enough to compete even with Wu. This guy is a true master. Heo notes that he would love to stay around here and chat, but they will meet again very soon, so he should wait for him then. Just as he is about to leave, a wave of recognition passes over him, and he looks at Bongsu, who can barely hide the glee on his face. Now Heo understands. He was the one, wasn't he? The person behind the pillar of light, and the one foiling his plans. He mimics his manic grin as he realizes that it was all his doing. He notes that they should meet again soon, and runs off. Wu would like to chase after him and end his life, but Hua takes precedence, so he stops himself and curses, as they've been completely and utterly had. That evening, Biok sits in the king's hall, noting that only 4 people reduced them to this. A wave of regret washes over him as he realizes that all of Heo's actions, and even his marriage to Hai, were all planned from the start. All the messenger pigeons they sent to the Murim alliance were killed by falcons too, and now that their clan's defensive 3 emperors 9 kings formation is destroyed, they are like rats in a barrel. Yin arrives and notes that he would like to speak. Currently they have 3 options: run, fight, or send a messenger. Biok tells him to skip to the third, as he knows just as well as he does that the first 2 are an impossibility. Yin agrees, and explains that sending a messenger means having someone report their current situation to the Murim alliance, and waiting for reinforcements. Considering the distance from here to there, it would take less than a week if they traveled at full speed. Biok has thought of that, but who could break through their siege and make it all the way to the alliance? Yin says there is one person, an absolute master with movement arts, capable of breaking through a siege. Biok knows he means Wu, but even for someone like him, breaking through the siege of so many alone would be too much, would it not? Yin swallows his sorrow at what he's about to say, and notes that they will use them, the only ones currently in the clan who are desperate to escape, the hundreds of wedding guests. With this in mind, Biok invites Wu to speak that night, but Biok is concerned about the child next to him. Wu explains that he has been granted the Tang family name. He is trustworthy, so he should pay him no mind and speak. Biok understands and clasps his hands together in a pleading manner, telling him to please escape to Soho Lake with the wedding guests, and request reinforcements. Wu scoffs, as if they do that, most of them will die. The enemy's martial prowess is... He stops himself, sure he knows better than he does. Biok confirms as such. If they take a boat from Soho Lake to the Yangtze River, they will be able to receive help from the 18 waterway strongholds of the Yangtze River. He has already launched all the ships and gathered the clan's guests and servants at the South Water Gate. Wu asks when they should depart, and Biok notes that it should be immediately, today. Seeing the grim determination on his face, Wu leaves, noting that he will prepare, but Biok tells him that when he leaves, he should take Hai along with him as well. He does not want her to see him fight that man. Wu stops and asks if that truly is all. Hearing this, Biok's face falters completely, and notes that in this case, the Namgung clan is finished, because he's afraid they won't last even 10 days. Wu screams, calling him a crazy bastard. Does he think he would let that happen? Not while he, Tang Wu, the soul-chasing poison hand, is here. He should endure, as if their lives depend on it, for he shall return with reinforcements, 1,000 men of martial prowess. Bongsu recalls Biok's defeated expression. It seems it was a good thing he saved Hua, to think he would hear the Namgung clan's plan firsthand, but this is a plan with many uncertainties behind it. Suddenly his meditation is interrupted by Hua, who wonders what her great-grandpa is even thinking. She quickly composes herself as she sees Bongsu and stands next to him, not really knowing what to say. This guy is pretty awkward, but she should say something. She sheepishly thanks him for saving her, and tells him not to get the wrong idea. Bongsu, however, drowns this all out and looks at her with an expression of pure contempt, as he does not care for her thanks. As Hyol watches from a distance, Heo comes along carrying a corpse, and Heol notes that he didn't expect to see him here so early. Should he call him Heyo now, or Shifting Shadow? Shall he hear his excuse too? Shifting Shadow notes that he is speaking as if he has failed. Heol asks if he is saying that he did not. 4 shadows died without achieving a thing, and above all, the fact that he is here right now means the first stratagem has failed. Shifting Shadow scoffs, saying he is wrong. The core of the first stratagem is for him to become a hero of the Orthodox faction, but just because he is standing here does not mean he cannot become a hero. Suddenly, his body shifts uncontrollably, changing his entire physique into that of a woman. He asks if this is enough. In this form, he doesn't even need someone like Hai. He naturally becomes the successor of Namgung. Heol is impressed. He laughs, calling him a crazy bastard. That's good. That's very good. This changes everything though. She is called the first beauty of Anhui for a reason. Truly beautiful to think he would get aroused despite knowing that he is a man. Shifting Shadow just looks at him for a solid minute and asks if he lost his damn mind. He, however, doesn't care if it's a man or a woman. If there's a hole, there's a goal. They begin clashing, their auras thrusting against each other. Shifting Shadow does not want to be diddled by this man, but suddenly, Falcon arrives with a message, and they stop. Shifting Shadow asks if it's from Water Shadow. He reads it, noting that it's just one character drifting, as he thought the ships had set sail. It's a shame, but he should get moving. What about him? Shifting Shadow notes that he is going to follow that hawk, and Heol guesses he wants to go to Water Shadow. But why? He thinks it would be more fun to go to the Namgung clan. Shifting Shadow refuses, saying there is something more interesting over here. Heol guesses he means Tang Wu, but even if he is one of the 10 greats, can he alone compare to the weight of the Namgung clan? He realizes it is about that light, isn't it? Did he find out who it is? He should tell him now. Shifting Shadow refuses and runs off, leaving him alone with his thoughts. Sure enough, a few short hours later, the wedding guests and Wu depart from the riverbed. They are naturally seen by a scout, who goes back to his supreme stronghold chief and confirms they have departed. She tells him to launch the ships, as they will give chase on the boats. This is the supreme stronghold chief of the 18 waterway strongholds of the Yangtze River, Water Shadow. Bongsu watches the situation intently, especially Hua and Hie. He thinks that no matter how much of a peerless expert Wu is right now, those two are just dead to him. If they were to face a moment of life and death, out of Hua and Hie and Tang Sam, the person he is now, if he absolutely has to abandon one of the three, it would definitely be him. He had better prepare himself in advance, just in case. As the convoy advances on the water, Wu thinks that it is quiet, far too quiet. They haven't seen a single enemy on their way here. This is a force large enough to besiege the Namgung clan. It would be only normal for there to be some enemies in the water as well. He tells Hua to tell the mariners to lower the speed of the ships as much as possible, just in case. They do so, and they travel lightly through misty waters. Eventually, they see lights from a bunch of ships approaching, carrying a certain symbol. Most people believe that they are reinforcements, and that they have received Namgung clan's message. They are saved. Wu recognizes them as well. This is the 18 waterway strongholds of the Yangtze River. Have they come to help, just as Biok said? However, why are there so many ships? It's as if they are blocking their path. There was a lack of suspicious enemies too, and now dozens of ships are blocking their way. Finally, he understands what is going on. He screams at everyone that these are not reinforcements, and they have to turn the ships around. They must get out of here as fast as possible. He exclaims that those people are their enemies. They need to turn the ships around while they still can. However, Water Shadow can almost sense his words, and tells her men to fire, and they do so, coloring the sky in thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of fire arrows, completely eviscerating anyone in their way, and setting the ships alight. Wu himself protects some of the area with his power, but Bongsu turns around and sees that there are barely any ships left. Wu tells everyone to pull themselves together quickly and reverse the ship, but then he looks behind them and sees that they are completely cornered, having been flanked from behind. Seeing this, Wu says they are going to the shore. They should hurry and move the survivors there. However, there will be no survivors left. One of the enemy ships crashes into one of theirs, and Water Shadow crashes down with her club, giving only one order to her men to kill everyone. They begin doing just that, annihilating the defenseless people without prejudice, with glee, in fact. Seeing this, Wu clenches his teeth so hard it's surprising they don't break, and he goes to Hai immediately, hitting a pulse point on her head to knock her out. Hua wonders what he's doing, and Wu says that they have to reach the shore. Hua says that it's impossible, even for someone like him. To take all three of them is just too much. Wu notes that he will only be taking just two, and they both turn to Bongsu. He explains that he was greedy for his talent, which is why he planted the goo inside of him, intending to control him as he pleased, to serve as a cornerstone of the Tang clan. However, it seems that he has really grown old. He has grown attached to a mere doll like him. He will not kill him today, but he won't save him either. With that, he goes to the edge of the boat. Hua would like to say something, would like to help perhaps, but she notes that it's fruitless now. Wu calls Bongsu's name one final time, noting that the Tang clan may not even know of his existence yet, but he, the soul-chasing poison hand, will remember him for all of his life if he does not survive. With that, he jumps away, and reluctantly, Hua follows. Bongsu lies still as the ship he is on continues erupting in flames, but thinks that now, since there are no prying eyes watching him, he shall get started. One of Water Shadow's men rushes in, seeing that he is defenseless, and moves to kill him, but summoning his blade into his hand, Bongsu immediately cuts his head off, and begins dragging his headless body away. After that, he begins cutting up his own face, again, and again, and again, marking himself with his own brandished blade. He has a reason for this, naturally. The bandits of Water Shadow tell everyone to leave no survivors, and they impale the corpses with their swords to make sure they are dead. Suddenly, though, one of them sees him approaching as a bandit, noting that he looks like a mess. Is he okay? Bongsu says that he is all good. After all, he was just having some fun. The few survivors from their ships flounder in the water, some holding themselves up on wooden boards, but it's pretty clear that this is the end of their lives. Wu rushes away with Hua, but sees that there are lights on the shore as well. These are the dogs of the Heavenly Demon Castle. Did they hide their forces on land too? Without even a speck of preamble, Wu unleashes a devastating strike on them, killing them on the spot, and landing on the shore with steam billowing from his mouth. The few survivors that remain, along with Hua, crawl up to the shore as well. Wu notes that they should hurry, so they all begin walking, trudging to the forest, more as corpses than living beings. Bongsu has successfully infiltrated the bandits. He stares at the system message about class advancement vagabond, and sees that he has 18 completed kills. Did any of the enemies he just killed meet the conditions? Suddenly, one of the bandits throws him a rag, and tells him to cover his face with that at least. Does he have any idea about how he looks right now? Bongsu doesn't, but he can guess, so he covers himself. Suddenly, someone more rotund comes, noting that they have turned this place into a real bloodbath, haven't they? The bandit that spoke earlier immediately bows his head, calling him the Vice Stronghold leader, and the leader asks what the situation is. The bandit explains that they have killed everyone on the ships. However, Wu, along with a few experts and the remaining survivors, fled to the shore. The Vice Stronghold leader notes that he will have to speak with Water Shadow about this, so they should wait for further instructions. Bongsu watches this interaction with detached interest, as this will definitely be an interesting situation. Eventually, the Vice leader arrives next to Water Shadow, who notes that he is late, calling him Shifting Shadow. Shifting Shadow did not expect her to know, but she explains that she has received word from Ash Shadow that he'd be coming, and there's that smile of his too. Whether he turns into a man or a woman, that never changes. Shifting Shadow understands he will have to keep that in mind then. What are they to do about Wu and the escapees? Water Shadow explains that, just as planned, they will be driving them to the Seonyong Mountain. That place shall become their tomb, including Wu's. Shifting Shadow understands the Seonyong Mountain, the half mountain and half valley. He will be hopelessly cornered at the edge of a cliff, climbing up as fast as he can, not even knowing it is his own grave, right? Water Shadow tells him to get ready. They will be heading out soon with the remaining forces. Shifting Shadow notes that one of the 10 greats against 2 shadows will be really fun. Actually, it could be 3, but it really doesn't matter. Certainty is always better than uncertainty, right? By the way, did he happen to see a strange fellow, someone with pitch black eyes, or perhaps an expert who uses martial arts that emit light? Water Shadow says that she has not, and Shifting Shadow continues walking. All 4 directions are completely blocked off, yet that guy vanished without a single trace. Well, this is nothing that a simple massacre can't fix, right? Wu retreats into the forest. As expected, they are being constantly harassed by enemy forces, and Wu takes them out expertly, not giving them a moment to react, as his incredible martial arts flows through them like water, leaving nothing behind. After this, he tells them that they will continue moving. However, one of them sees that his unit is completely tired, almost falling on their knees, and he notes that they will be resting for a moment, leaving Wu's group to go in front. The man thinks that only half of the Black Crow unit is left. No, perhaps it is even fewer. Danri Hui, who was supposed to come, has vanished without a trace. There is a slim chance that this applies to him too. They are in a situation where even the survival of the Black Crow unit cannot be guaranteed. They need to return to the Danri clan as soon as possible with news of this, as perhaps this is bigger than the Namgung clan. Suddenly, though, he hears a shift in the bushes, and he immediately tells his unit to arise for battle. They do so, and he demands for the enemy to come out. And they do. It's the bandits from before, all eager to slay their enemies. And among them, naturally, is Bongsu, who is eager to increase his level and continue his path. The bandits rush in, telling each other not to leave a single one alive and to kill them all. And the Black Crow unit moves in as well, as they have to survive and return to the Danri clan. As the fighting begins, Bongsu immediately rushes at Da In-hyul, who knows that his own body is already at his limit. He can feel it. He has to settle this quickly somehow. He uses the single stream, 10-sword style, the flying swallow 10 successive swords, unleashing a flurry of strikes onto Bongsu that flow like water. But Bongsu is not hit by any of the strikes, as now he can see Da In-hyul's sword. Seeing that he dodged, Da In-hyul rushes in again, noting that his petty tricks will not work forever. But Bongsu meets his strike with one of his own, and twirls around in the air, kicking Da In-hyul in the face roughly. Bongsu immediately prepares to use the Three Forces sword, but Da In-hyul pulls out a blade he was hiding in his sleeve, and crashes it into Bongsu, seemingly hitting him. Da In-hyul thinks that this is his victory. However, Bongsu has protected himself with one of the bandits' corpses, shocking him as to how he even got it. Da In-hyul rushes back with a confused expression on his face. He was certain that he landed the perfect blow. Bongsu explains that someone once told him something like this: in a life-or-death battle between martial artists, the one who hides most has an advantage. So, is one hidden dagger all that he has prepared? Da In-hyul's heart stops as he sees those eyes, as he has definitely seen them somewhere before. Bongsu summons a bunch of daggers and sends them flying towards Da In-hyul in succession, all of them converging on his position. He blocks the few that he can, letting the others pass through and cut him, but he knew it. His eyes were not deceiving him after all. This bastard has been summoning something from thin air this entire time. Just what kind of malefic sorcery is this? Bongsu rushes in at the same time. Another bandit rushes from behind Da In-hyul. He notes that he cannot avoid this, but instead of hitting him, Bongsu hits the bandit roughly, killing him on the spot. Bongsu screams at him not to dare mess with his hunt. Seeing those eyes now, Da In-hyul remembers that violent red hue, that gaze. This is the bug from the Danri clan, the Sosum. How dare a lowly wretch like him do something like this? He charges in with newfound anger, demanding to know since when he has been deceiving them. Bongsu blocks his next strike, and Da In-hyul calls him a demon. It seems that the suicide plague in Bonggang must have been his doing as well, wasn't it? He throws Bongsu's sword away and rushes in again, noting that he was just someone cleaning horse dung in the noble clan. He is nothing but a worm. However, as he charges in, he does not see the sharp whip that Bongsu has flown around him, and with a pull, he takes off both of his hands before making him explode in blood and viscera, ending the fight. Bongsu has told him, the one who hides most, wins. As the bandits clear out the rest of the crowd, one of them wonders where the reinforcements are, and Bongsu agrees because from a certain point, the reinforcements that were trickling in stopped coming. There must be a reason for this. They need to check. Suddenly, though, that same bandit notices that they are finally here. He has to admit the higher-ups are always so damn slow, but he also wonders what's with them. Why are they all wearing their clothes inside out? He calls out for the stronghold leader, asking why she is so late. But before he can say anything more, she unleashes such a devastating strike that he explodes, his hands, feet, and head flying in every direction. Water Shadow looks up at the sky and tells her men to leave none of them alive and kill them all. The bandits begin to kill each other, some asking to be spared, and some hesitating, noting that they cannot do this anymore. How can they kill their own comrades? However, Water Shadow immediately takes care of them, and screams that she will personally crush the skulls of anyone who dares to hesitate. Seeing this, the bandits value their own lives more, and kill their comrades without much regret anymore. Bongsu manages to get out of the way, and now moves away, seeing multiple lights light up the dark forest and someone screaming that, under the stronghold leader's order, none shall escape. Bongsu can see that they are everywhere, and he continues running. He's surprised they are killing even their fellow bandits. They've surrounded the mountain and are hurting people. It is basically a driving hunt. He has never been the prey before. This is kind of exciting. He continues rushing, coming upon a bunch of bandits that were resting, and cuts them all up with his sharp whip instantly, not giving them a chance at life. He sees that his next level up isn't far off either, and these guys are doing so much for him. Perhaps he can use them. Wu and the others continue running, having just taken care of a bunch of bandits. Hua asks Wu if he can feel it too, and he confirms as such. This is a driving hunt. They keep herding them towards the mountain peak. Suddenly, someone rushes in from their group. Noting that they must come see this, he takes them out to where they were going, a seemingly bottomless pit filled with fog. Everyone begins to despair, some falling on their ass, others claiming that it's over, and that they will die. Hearing this, Wu screams at them to shut up. Who says it is over? Even an old man like him has not given up, and they're already giving up their lives like this. They just have to kill every single bastard that comes here. Do they think that they cannot? The men immediately lose their bravado and agree. But suddenly, a bunch more bandits arrive. Everyone gets ready for battle, but one of them explains that they were attacked too. With Bongsu right behind him, Wu asks what he's talking about, and the bandit explains that they ran away. Those guys the stronghold leader brought attacked them. They were on the same side, so he doesn't know why. Wu wonders if this is an internal conflict. It seems that this is their chance. They need to break through their encirclement and head back right now. Wu tells them to move aside if they don't wish to die. They are heading back down the mountain. Suddenly though, someone calls out, "It's Shifting Shadow," noting that Wu ran really hard, and this is the best he could do. He looks just like a rat in a jar. He is accompanied by Water Shadow, who says nothing. Wu demands to know who the hell he is to be talking like this, and Shifting Shadow changes his face, noting that perhaps Wu recognizes him like this. Wu immediately becomes enraged as he sees Doyak, and Water Shadow tells Shifting Shadow that they do not have time for his little games. They should hurry up and deal with the soul-chasing poison hand. However, Shifting Shadow moves in front of her, noting that Wu is going to die anyway, so they should take their time. Besides, one guy has not arrived yet, and Shifting Shadow has something to ask him. He tells Wu to calm down a bit. He just has one little thing to ask before they clash. That piece of trash he was carrying around. Just where is he right now? Bongsu watches from a distance, wondering why they are even looking for him. Then the reckless move of killing even their own allies was, this? No. Perhaps it is only natural, right? Considering the flash of light that night, and his intervention must have completely ruined their plans too. From their perspective, he is someone they absolutely have to hunt down and kill. His heart begins to beat in his chest. A manic sensation spreads through his body, warm like an embrace. Just how delightful is this feeling? Shifting Shadow notes that an expert capable of unleashing a flash of light like that couldn't possibly be dead. He is certain he is somewhere around here, so he screams out, telling him to come out now. He told him before, right, that they would definitely meet again. If he doesn't come out by the count of 3, he is as good as dead. Suddenly though, Bongsu begins killing the rest of the bandits around, and Shifting Shadow guesses that it is him. However, Bongsu has also leveled up, and that gigantic beam of light flows down on him again. Once it's gone, Bongsu is gone as well. Shifting Shadow wonders if he disappeared, but it wasn't that. It was only for a fleeting moment, but he saw a shadow within that light. Then, did he go down the cliff? No. Did he go by himself? But even Wu wouldn't be able to land in one piece if he jumped off the cliff like this. Did he end his own life perhaps? As he continues watching the cliff, wondering what is going on, Haye begins to slowly stir awake. Shifting Shadow scratches the back of his head, noting that he has quite a bad taste in his mouth because of this. It is a shame, but he supposes he will have to settle for them. Hiei slowly gets up, recognizing him as young Master Du, and wonders what the meaning of this is. Why is he like this? Shifting Shadow wonders, was she always such an idiot who could not grasp the situation? Wu tells everyone to fall back, but before the battle can begin, a familiar voice screams at them to wait and hold on a minute. He moves through the bandits. It's none other than Hai-Al, who wonders, surely they weren't about to start the feast without someone as great as him, right? Wu is extremely wary of seeing another one of them, as the ones before were already at the level of their clan's peak realm experts, and now, there's a similar one too. However, Wu sees that Hai-Al has something in his hands that makes his old wise eyes widen. Hai-Al notes that he brought a little gift with him to commemorate this event. He throws the head of someone on the ground, with that someone being none other than the Namgung clan patriarch. Everyone is shocked, with Haye immediately crouching down at the head of her grandpa and clutching it in her hands. Wu is a mask of cold, unawakened fury. Seeing the situation, Hai-Al can't help himself but laugh with manic glee at Haye cradling her dead grandfather like that and sobbing her eyes out. The first beauty of Anhui is really a fitting title for her. He is glad that he brought the gift. He knew it. A beautiful woman's ruined, crying face is what turns him on the most. As he comes down from his amused state, he sees that his comrades really aren't that impressed, and he wonders why the mood is like this. Why is he the only one laughing? Is he not supposed to be turned on or something? Water Shadow notes that he really is a crazy bastard, and even Shifting Shadow notes that he isn't human after all. Hyal points at them, noting that they crushed the Namgung clan, and even Wu will die by their hands soon enough. That makes 2 beyond peak realm expert heads and 2 wives to have by his side too, which is always better than 1. Hearing this, Wu charges an amazing amount of power into the needles and throws both Haye and Hua away, right over the cliff. He explains that he has poured half of his remaining internal energy into the Dragon Phoenix golden needles. It is certainly not enough to safely descend the cliff. Their limbs or something else might be crippled for life, but the 2 of them surviving is the most important thing for him. Shifting Shadow points at him, asking what he is doing, but Wu screams at Hua of the Sichuan Tang clan. She must survive, even if she breaks, even if she is ruined. She must live on and return one day to repay the blood debt for him, Tang Wu. With that, they fall to the ground pretty roughly, and Hyal clutches his head, screaming like he lost the lottery. He immediately rushes in, asking how Wu dares to take his wives. Upon Wu unleashing his entire aura, he immediately takes a step back, as he knows he will die if he moves a step further. Wu tells them to come, as the only thing he has left is the empty name of the 10 Greats. From this moment forth, the soul-chasing poison hand shall reap their spirit essence and carve their mistakes into their flesh. As Bongsu falls down the mountain, he uses one of the bodies to steady his fall and drives his blade into the mountain range. He has descended about 500 meters so far. The remaining distance is about 1,200 to 1,500 meters. While going down a cliff like this is basically life-ending. With his body strengthened from leveling up, if he uses the corpses in his inventory as a buffer to slow his descent as much as possible, it would not be impossible to get down safely. However, that's when his sword catches in a particularly rocky part of the cliffside, and he falls off of it completely. Seeing this, he activates his inventory, summoning a bunch of them, and uses them as stepping stools as he grabs another sword and makes his way back onto the cliffside, riding yet another corpse. Whether it is Tang Wu or even the enemy, they will all end up at the bottom of the cliff eventually. He will survive this descent somehow, and then look for an opportunity. Shifting Shadow notes that Wu just activated his poison arts. He thought he would not be able to use them because of those tag-alongs, but to think this stubborn old man would take such a gamble with his granddaughter's life until the very end. However, making this kind of decision means that he's already been pushed onto the defensive. He calls out for everyone to attack the soul-chasing poison hand and kill him. The different bandits all charge him, stopping for nothing, not even the people in front of them. They all continue their charge, counting in the hundreds if not thousands. But as they approach him, Wu suddenly unleashes the soul-dementing ghost poison hand, unleashing such a toxic aura that it completely melts the people around him in a power that is overwhelming and blinding. The 3 commanders are safe for now. They can see the destruction that Wu has wrought with only that much power. Shifting Shadow did not expect him to be able to use such an attack right now. If they had not taken the antidote beads beforehand, they would have melted too. However, Hyal doesn't seem to have been granted that mercy. As the poison overtakes his body, making him look even uglier, he wonders how they are completely fine. Water Shadow throws him one of the beads, and he immediately pops it in his mouth, allowing him to live another day. He finally feels alive, but he is a little mad that they kept these things to themselves. Suddenly, their talk is interrupted by Wu taking out yet another bandit who screams and pleads for help. But Wu grants him no mercy. He can see that they took antidote beads. They came fully prepared to kill this old man. That being said, the one standing before them right now is one of the 10 Greats of the entire Murim. The shadows know they messed up, and Wu immediately charges in before they can even react. But Water Shadow strikes at him with a blow so hard that it seemingly breaks through Wu's poison defense, making her smile as the strike goes through the sky and parts the clouds. Suddenly, a needle appears right in front of her eyes, aiming to kill her. Shifting Shadow grabs it just in time, asking Wu what he thinks he's doing. Does he expect a mere hidden weapon to work? Suddenly though, with a shift of his pinky and thumb, the hidden weapon becomes a bomb that blows up spectacularly. Hyal jumps up, calling Wu a crazy old man. He should stop throwing hidden weapons like the coward he is and fight him fair and square. He unleashes the shadowed phantom bloom onto Wu, who wonders if fighting 3-on-1 is not just as cowardly. He lets out a bunch more hidden weapons and makes them blow up all around Hyal, who is forced to dodge, noting that they are all incredibly petty. However, using that distraction, Wu has perforated his shin with one of his poison attacks, having gotten one of them. With this leverage, Wu pulls Hyal right in front of him, and Hyal knows that he has to block this incoming strike, as he will surely be dead if not. Wu's hand, which seemed normal at first, is so fast and strikes everywhere all at once. this being a pressure point strike that leaves Hyol unable to move his body any further. Wu grabs his hair and notes that he will start by gouging out those filthy eyes that dare to look at his granddaughter. That way, he takes out one of the eyes, making Hyol scream loudly, but suddenly Shifting Shadow attacks with a strike that Wu can barely dodge himself. Now he realizes this was a palm technique, so that was his true skill, not the saber technique he used earlier. The Shifting Shadow charges in, using the Thunderclap 100 Strikes palm, while Wu himself uses the Delusional 6 Acupoint Bloody Hand. Their strikes shake the entire mountainside, and Wu can see that he is actually being pushed back somehow. Shifting Shadow notes that his internal energy is finally going to run out. It's over for him. He all himself can't believe it. He cannot see anything. He really cannot see anything anymore. His precious eyes, meant for looking at beautiful women, were taken by a bastard old man. He charges up his sword and throws it with vitriol at Wu, even though he cannot see him, wanting to drag him down with him. Shifting Shadow can sense the sword behind him and dodges just in time, allowing it to hit Wu completely. Because of this, Shifting Shadow is given the opportunity to strike at Wu once again, sending him flying. Water Shadow appears behind Wu and strikes him extremely hard, right back into the mountainside. Silence falls briefly before Hyol screams, "That old bastard took my eyes. I will slit his throat right now." Shifting Shadow, however, tells him to wait, as Wu appears in front of them, his left hand mangled and broken but still able to move, surprising everyone. He takes a step further, and they do so as well, before charging in at once. Wu unleashes a tendril strike right below them, activating the hidden weapons he planted beneath, unleashing a bunch of poison and covering their field of view. Water Shadow, however, charges through, trying to hit Wu with her numerous attacks, but he dodges each one with expert precision, despite his injuries and tiredness, even unleashing a few hidden weapons into her. She can also see that he's been aiming at the same spot of her weapon this entire time, aiming to break it. However, she notes that it's useless. Hyol charges in, and they unleash a double strike at Wu, who simply dodges, allowing their weapons to collide, and unleashing another hidden weapon, causing it to blow up spectacularly with this blinding light. Wu knows that he must kill Shifting Shadow for sure, so he charges in with incredible power. However, his broken hand is suddenly grabbed by none other than Water Shadow, who wonders where he is going, as they are not done yet. She opens her jaws widely before crushing them into Wu's hand, making him scream out in pain. Wu knows he cannot keep relying on hidden weapons, as this bastard will regain his senses soon. This is his last chance to kill him. He also knows that this woman will not let go of his hand, so if that is the case, he rips it off himself and charges in at Shifting Shadow, presumably killing him as he falls off the cliff. Now he only has two to deal with. Wu steps in front of them, knowing full well that he has run out of internal energy and hidden weapons. All that remains to defend himself with is this old, broken body. Both he and Water Shadow unleash devastating strikes upon each other, making them recoil back. This gives Hyol the opportunity to dash in, telling the old man to die, but then Wu dodges with the lazy donkey roll technique, making Hyol even madder. He dares to call himself one of the 10 greats, and he uses a technique with such dishonor. Wu wonders what he's talking about. He threw honor, and his entire reason for being off this cliff a long time ago, unleashing a devastating strike onto Hyol and sending him into Water Shadow. Seeing this, she grabs Hyol's leg and uses him as a club to crash into Wu, who recoils back roughly. Wu is getting increasingly annoyed now, as he falls and steadies himself on his feet. Water Shadow throws Hyol's presumed body away, with Wu wondering if she thinks he would be defeated by the likes of them, cowards who possess neither the resolve to face death nor the courage to sacrifice a single thing. With that, they clash once again, the fight going on until the sun rises over the horizon. Wu stands victorious, clutching the head of Water Shadow, one hand gone but his resolve unwavering. Hyol can't believe it. Even with 3 shadows and over 100 warriors, they could not kill a single old man. Hyol has now become truly fearful, and he tells Wu to stay away as he approaches, as he does not want anything to do with him. However, right under the cliffside, a familiar hand reaches out and begins climbing up. Hyol tries to use sand to blind Wu, who does not even move, does not say anything, and does not even close his eyes as he mutters something. The light in his eyes is dimming completely, almost. Hyol wonders if he lost his mind, but then how is he still moving? Wu drops Water Shadow and reaches his hand toward Hyol. The one from behind charges in, and Wu can immediately feel them redirecting his strike, but then he sees that it is Hua. He wonders how that is possible. Having completely forgotten that Shifting Shadow can change his body, Wu is caught. Shifting Shadow is glad to have finally gotten him, despite being one of the 10 greats. he is still a sentimental old man. He throws him away right next to the cliffside, and Hyel asks if it's Shifting Shadow. Shifting Shadow does not even hear him, thinking that this was pretty close. If there had been just a little more internal energy in Wu's punch, he would not have been able to climb the cliff and would have died instantly. However, now it is their victory. Hyel regains his confidence, noting that this is right. He really thought he was just going to die just now. He should forget about dying peacefully. He will gouge out his eyes, sever his limbs, and slit his throat until the very end. Naturally, his head will go down the cliff, and those wenches will also die with him. However, his expression falters as he sees Wu, despite the hole in his chest, hold out his hand for a technique. It pales in comparison to the original, but if this is where his life ends, then, imperfect though as it may be, it is what it must be. Even if he had to burn away every single last shred of life and chi that he has left, he will defeat them. He begins using the heaven-shrouding petal rain, summoning hundreds and thousands of hidden weapons along the cliffside that he has used up until now, activating all of them in a strike so fantastic that it completely overwhelms the entire cliffside, making it look like a blinding light show. Wu, who falls down the cliffside, is thinking of Hua, having wanted to see her get married before he died. So, if there is only one wish he has to the gods, or to anyone listening, it's for her to survive. Naturally, Bongsu has heard the explosion, and he knows what it means. He stands over the broken bodies that he has used to survive, and he is glad that Tang Wu is finally coming so that he can reap his generous reward. Eventually, Wu wakes up again, still alive somehow. His body won't move, so his condition is critical. He can see that both of his arms are now destroyed, along with both of his legs. His innate ki has dissipated completely, and he will die soon enough. He looks around, seeing the entire valley filled with corpses being feasted on by blood-sucking butterflies. However, Wu can see that among the corpses of the fallen guests and pirates, some did not die from the fall. Someone finished them off, and that someone is standing right above him. He recognizes him. It's Bongsu. Wu puts two and two together. The martial artist slaughtered at the bottom of the cliff, a blood-stained sword, and Bongsu looking at him as if he had been waiting. Wu now knows he is not Tang Sam. Just who is he? Bongsu leans over him, blade in hand, noting that he has no real idea how long he has waited for this precious moment. Wu calls him a bastard, noting that he personally bestowed the Tang family name on him, and now he dares to kill him. He's a beastly wretch. He dares try to bite his own master. He knew it. He should have killed him on that ship back then. He screams at the goo he put inside of Bongsu, telling it to tear apart its host body, and laughs. Did he forget that the goo is still inside of him? Soon it will shred his body to pieces, making him bleed from all of his orifices. However, Bongsu almost crashes his blade into his eye, holding his gaze with a manic expression. He knows what Wu is talking about, and he took that thing out a long time ago. Wu is shocked, and wonders how he would ever be able to do such a thing. Bongsu notes that this place is a world of madmen, learning the killing arts known as martial arts. Madmen who live under the law where the weak are prey to the strong, sometimes in the name of the orthodox, sometimes in the name of the unorthodox, sometimes in the name of the demonic. They enforce their justice under the guise of violence. In this place where strength is order, there are butterflies fluttering in the sky, and he was the caterpillar crawling on the ground. Now, right now in this fallen valley, he will kill Tang Wu, and become the butterfly as well, and once again become a hunter who hunts down beasts known as martial artists. Bongsu laughs as Wu is his greatest prey, and he shall cherish this memory forevermore. Wu tells him to stay away. For him, the soul-chasing poison hand, being killed by a mere guard dog he raised, is unthinkable. It cannot be. However, Bongsu still goes through with it, and suddenly he levels up once again, this time much harder, much further than ever before, lighting up the entire valley and clearing the skies. He stands on a corpse, completely refreshed, and can see it. He has gained 10 levels. It is a significant amount, but it falls short compared to the reputation of the soul-chasing poison hand. He thought he would get a much better reward. He looks at Wu, who is a total wreck. Was he experiencing this surge because Wu was already dying? Perhaps. If they could reduce Tang Wu to this state, the ones left up there, if he goes to them now, he wouldn't be a match for them, or they would have already fled, and would be hard to catch in the first place. His first-class advancement is almost complete, needing only one kill. He pulls his blade out of Wu's eye, cleaning it as he knows Wu could not have fallen down here all by himself. He has not spotted her yet, but she definitely must be somewhere nearby. He only needs one more kill after all, until he advances to the vagabond. Hua herself wakes up in a crater slowly, her entire body aching. She tries to get up, seeing that one of her legs is entirely broken. She wonders how long she has been passed out, but she is alive. That alone is enough. She looks beside her and sees that Water Shadow is also there, but she has not had the same luck to fall on even ground. She fell on one of the rocks. She approaches, wanting to see if she's alive, but it is pretty clear that she is not, her head being crushed into the rock. Hua bites her lower lip until blood comes out and begins crawling away as Wu told her to survive, so she has to survive and return to the Tang clan. She continues crawling and crawling through the red mist until eventually she spots someone who is none other than Bong Su, wondering how he is even here. However, he is not here to rescue her. He is here to complete his objective. Hua wonders how he is here, but then she screams out, commanding him to help her as she needs to return to the Tang family. One of her legs is broken. However, that's when she sees something familiar on Bong Su's dagger. She remembers the moments she had with her grandfather, who told her that those who build their internal energy using poison inevitably accumulate poison inside of their bodies. The more they train, the more they become poisoned humans with poison flowing through their bones, muscles, and even their blood. Of course, the accumulated poison is not enough to be a major threat, but it is enough to melt a piece of iron just like this. She should not slack off on her training, as one day she too will reach that realm. No, she would become a martial artist who surpasses even him, seeing that same erosion on his dagger. She knows that he killed her grandfather. She wonders why her grandfather even bestowed his surname onto him. So why did Bong Su betray them? She rushes in with her broken body, trying to rip his skin away from his shins, swearing to kill him. However, Bong Su just looks at her with absolute disdain and holds his knife up, ready to kill her. However, seeing her like this, he realizes that they are all bugs. Anhui is essentially a colossal goo jar made by the Heavenly Demon Castle. 3 insects struggle to survive, killing and being killed by one another constantly. Was it not said that the longer the bug survives within the jar, the more toxic it gets? If all the other bugs die, and only one survives alone, just how much will that accumulated toxicity strengthen her? He crouches down, thinking about it. Killing her now will not mean much, and it might not even satisfy the quest conditions either, because she is far too weak. She wonders what kind of bullshit he is spouting right now, but Bong Su suddenly smashes his dagger into the ground before her. Just as she said, he killed Tang Wu. Therefore, she should come and claim the price of Tang Wu's life from him, as he will be desperately waiting to see what kind of bug she grows into. Seeing the absolute confidence with which he says it, and the gall to not kill her right now, she screams out in rage, cursing him, swearing upon her very soul that he will regret not killing her this day. Now, to Bong Su, the entire Murim is one giant goo jar, the orthodox and unorthodox, and the Heavenly Demon Castle. Soon, countless of these bugs will swarm the Murim and start killing each other. To survive and hunt, he must become stronger than he is now. He needs to become at least strong enough to hold his own in a battle against an expert of Wu's caliber. To advance to a vagabond, he will need to properly hit level 30 as well. To do that, he needs to hunt more fiercely than ever before. After a bit of introspection, he smiles as he changes his hunting ground to a place with a lot more blood, a lot more battles, and definitely a lot more experience points. Inside of the destroyed cliffside, the 3 shadows finally land from the sky while calling Wu a crazy bastard until the end. He detonated all those hidden weapons right in front of their faces. He told the Tang clan that heaven-shrouding Petal Rain was lost, but that was not the complete version. He lacked the internal energy, and the technique only had the form. He merely detonated the hidden weapons he planted all around. However, he is impressed too, to think that it had such power despite that. They really got lucky. If they had not used Water Shadow as a shield, they would have definitely been annihilated. Hyol agrees. She is a tough cookie after all. She is still alive thanks to her hard Kui, though, even though she is half dead. Shifting Shadow begins walking away, telling him to take her and return to Muban, as he will be heading to the Murim Alliance and preparing the second stratagem. Hyol immediately refuses. Does he really want him to go to Muban alone? Does he really want him to die or something? No, they will go together if that's the case. However, Shifting Shadow just leaves, leaving Hyol in such fear that his teeth begin to chatter. They go to Muban's castle. Hyol stops at the door, hyping himself up so that he doesn't piss himself the moment he walks in. With a loud, heavy breath, he opens the large doors, revealing Muban. He immediately gets on his knees like a dog, and notes that they have completed the first stratagem he ordered without any issue. Of course, Water Shadow was slightly injured. However, there were really no issues at all. The Namgung clan has been annihilated, and he even took the Patriarch's head himself. Before he can say anything further, Muban suddenly appears behind him from his throne. The air is silent, almost unmoving, but the pressure Muban exudes is real. He wishes for Hyol to repeat what he just said. Was the first stratagem truly completed without any issues? This is Muban, someone of great power, with eyes resembling those of Bong Su, those of a real and true